Welcome to Tainan, Taiwan's oldest city and former capital that, in my opinion, is like Taiwan's version of Kyoto, offering a unique view into the island's history and culture. Tainan is located on the country's southwestern coast and takes around an hour and a half to reach via the bullet train from Taipei. Tainan is home to a constellation of culinary delights, and this traditional breakfast spot is one of them. It doesn't look like much, but this place does some of the best sandwiches I've had in my life and was run by a couple that was super friendly. Inside their signature sandwich is a tender, marinated slice of pork, a fried egg, fresh cucumbers, and a generous smearing of mayonnaise. This place was so good, we went both mornings of our 2-day stay. Afterwards, we went for a short walk, passing by the city's art museum on the way to our next destination, the Tainan Confucius Temple. The temple was originally built in the 1600s and is acclaimed as the first academy in Taiwan. What is a Confucius Temple? Well, instead of being a religious site, it instead acts as a memorial of kinds to a philosopher called Confucius, who's sort of like the Socrates of East Asia. The grounds are stunning, with pagodas, courtyards, halls, and gardens to explore. As is the case with many temples, it's customary to leave wishes and messages on the grounds, and stamp it with an official seal. As this temple was the first academy in Taiwan, many of the wishes you'll see are from students wishing for academic success in upcoming exams and such. The temple is free to visit, but you do have to pay to head through to the main shrine area called Da Chengmen, which you see here. Don't worry though, it's literally $1.50 to get through. This area is not only visually stunning, but is also a great place to learn more about the temple and see some of its older historical pieces. Oh, quick shout out to Holafly, the eSIM we used on this trip. There's many options out there, but we gave them a try and it worked exactly as you'd expect with no issues. You can choose how many days you need the eSIM for and load it into your phone before you leave. Then just switch it on when you land. Feel free to check them out. There's a link in the description that automatically applies our code SWEETKETCHUP for 5% off your order. Taiwan was ruled by the Empire of Japan from 1895 to 1945. In that time, many buildings were designed and built in old Japanese style. That includes the National Museum of Taiwan Literature. The museum is super interesting. You learn more about the history of Taiwan's rich literary heritage through some pretty cool interactive exhibits. Oh, and there's a nice little cafe within the museum as well that we enjoyed afterwards. We went for a short walk before lunch, exploring the Wu Garden, heralded as one of the 4 great gardens of Taiwan. For lunch, we went to a restaurant called Ding Fu Fa that serves a classic Taiwanese dish, pork lard rice. This dish was originally eaten by those that were less well off, using a mix of lard and soy sauce to give rice flavour. Today, it's a nostalgic comfort food that's absolutely delicious. We went for a banquet, having the rice with both a fried egg and egg yolk on top, grilled pork skewers, braised pork balls, and vegetables. The restaurant vibe is also great. It's dressed up to look like an old classroom, which dials up the feeling of nostalgia for those who ate this kind of food when they were younger. For dessert, Grace and I went to one of the most famous mochi shops in Tainan called Jintao Strawberry Daifuku. Strawberry Daifuku is a popular Japanese sweet treat that is a strawberry, typically covered in either red bean or matcha paste, then wrapped in mochi. This combination makes for one of my favourite desserts ever. This store makes them fresh every day and, as you can see, locals and tourists flock to the place to buy in bulk. You have to be quick though, because once they're sold out for the day, you're out of luck. We had matcha and red bean flavours. Both were absolutely divine. I can't recommend this place enough. It's an absolute must visit in Tainan. Later on, we had bubble tea at a place called Shuànsên before visiting the Chihkan Tower that's literally across the road. Chihkan Tower offers a remarkable window into the history of Taiwan. It was originally built as Fort Provincia by the Dutch in 1652 during the country's colonization of the island. Some of the site was undergoing restoration when we visited, but here's a picture of me in front of one of the towers. Inside, you learn more about the history of the grounds and get to see various historical artifacts. You can also climb up the tower and enjoy the views from the top. We got to enjoy a glorious sunset while we were up there. Chihkan Tower isn't free to visit, but just like other historical sites, it's incredibly cheap at just over $2. As nightfall approached, we took a stroll down Shennong Street, a historic and photogenic street that used to be at the heart of the city's riverport a few hundred years ago. The street has since become a key part of Tainan's cultural creative scene. It's lined with trendy cafes, art studios, and boutique shops. Exploring these is extremely fun, as is enjoying the atmosphere at night, with its many lanterns lit up. We were craving ramen for dinner and found a place called Sumiku that delivered and then some. I personally love a ramen restaurant with bar seating so you can see it being made in front of you. The staff were extremely friendly and, most importantly, the food was so tasty. The pork I had was lovely and tender, and the broth was so good I drank the entire thing. Our last stop for the day was the Hayashi department store, the oldest department store in Taiwan that has a history as fascinating as the items sold inside. The name gives it away, but this is once again another piece of history from the island's Japanese era. The store opened in 1932 and, at the time, was the tallest building in Tainan. The building boasts a beautiful exterior and is filled with goods inside sold from local vendors. You've got snacks, design and crafts, fashion, books, restaurants, and a viewpoint at the top. Take the time to scout out each floor, because if you're anything like Grace and I, you'll find a bunch of cool things to take home with you. At the time, this was one of only 2 stores in Taiwan to have an elevator. It's pretty cool thinking about how this was probably how countless people experienced this feat of engineering for the first time. On the roof, you get great views of the old bank across the street. You can also see the store's shrine and some bullet holes that are scars the building still has from World War II. We bought a bunch of stuff and got a free Tainan baseball with our purchase. For our second and final day in Tainan, we headed south to visit 2 awesome spots. The first of which was the Ten Drum Cultural Village. In the early 1900s, this place was a sugar factory, but in 2005, a Taiwanese drumming troupe took it over. Not only can you experience them live, but there's also a ton of activities on the old grounds too, like this huge slide. The remnants of the old factory remain, with storage tanks now turned into exhibition areas promoting Taiwanese percussion art and culture. For me though, the activities available here make this place a must visit. You've got a climbing wall, you've also got a swing that makes people scream with fear. And finally, you've got the free fall, which admittedly had me incredibly scared. You're basically strapped in, but have to jump off the edge of this building. I conquered it in the end. Barely. Right opposite the Ten Drum Cultural Village is the Chimei Museum, which looks like nothing else you'll see in Tainan. This giant palace, with its neoclassical European-style architecture, was founded by a man called Xu Wenlong, the founder of the Chimei Corporation, which is one of the world's largest plastic manufacturers. When he was growing up, Xu Wenlong frequently visited a local museum and promised to one day build one of his own for everyone to enjoy. His goal was to ensure that people who couldn't afford to travel could still immerse themselves in global culture, arts, and more. With a mountain of wealth from his business, he did just that, and the end result is absolutely magnificent. The interior looks like it was designed to rival the fanciest royal palaces, and the collections on offer are beautiful and vast. In fact, the museum is home to the world's largest violin collection. Xu Wenlong was an amateur violinist himself, and what you see today started as his own personal collection. There are over 1,300 violins here, some of which are loaned out to violinists for performances. There's tons of other stuff to see, with my favourites being the arms and armour, particularly the Japanese samurai armour. There's a large gift shop, and one of the things that stood out for me was the custom travel cards with artwork from the museum on it. These are used for transport across the country, like buses and the metro. The museum's front entrance is particularly awe-inspiring. Alongside the stunning architecture, you have a bridge lined with 12 Greek god statues, and at the very front you have a replica of the Apollo fountain from the Palace of Versailles in France. We took an Uber back to the city centre, which cost around $8 US. Then we headed to a restaurant called Xiao Du Noodles for dinner before catching the high-speed train back to Taipei. Tainan is incredible and truly immerses you in the history and culture of Taiwan in a way no other city can. Ignoring it would be like visiting Japan and skipping Kyoto. So, if you're visiting Taiwan, make sure you have at least a couple days in Tainan on your itinerary.